Part 1. The Problem. The World of Confusion. Chapter 1. The Tragedy of Being Misunderstood. There is a kind of loss that is rarely spoken about, yet it shapes the outcomes of people's lives more than we realize. It is not the loss of ability, because many people are capable. It is not the loss of opportunity, because opportunities exist. It is the loss that comes when a person, a message, or a work is not understood. To be misunderstood is not a small inconvenience, it is a quiet tragedy. A person may carry wisdom, yet be ignored. A business may offer value, yet be overlooked. A believer may hold truth, yet fail to communicate it in a way that others can receive. In each case, the problem is not the absence of substance, it is the absence of clarity. And when clarity is absent, the result is often the same. What should have produced impact produces nothing. Scripture reveals this in a direct and sobering way. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. This destruction is not always dramatic. It does not always appear as failure in an obvious sense. More often, it appears as stagnation, as delay, as missed moments, as doors that never open, not because they could not, but because the message that should have opened them was never understood. This is the tragedy. Consider how this plays out in everyday life. A person speaks, but those listening do not fully grasp what is being said. The words are heard, but the meaning is lost. Over time, the speaker becomes frustrated, not realizing that the issue is not effort, but clarity. In business, the same pattern appears. A company builds a product or service it believes in. It invests time, resources, and energy. Yet, when it presents itself to the world, the response is weak, not because the offering lacks value, but because that value is not clearly communicated. The market does not reject what it understands. It ignores what it does not. Even in ministry, this pattern persists. Truth is shared, scripture is quoted, messages are delivered, yet the transformation that should follow does not occur. Not because the truth is ineffective, but because it has not been made clear enough for people to truly understand and respond. In each of these cases, the outcome is the same. Potential remains unrealized. What makes this tragedy more serious is that it often goes unnoticed. People tend to assume that when something is not working, the problem lies in the content itself. They believe they need more knowledge, more resources, more strategies. But often, the issue is not what they have. It is how what they have is being communicated. The difference between being heard and being understood is significant. Many people are heard, few are understood, and it is the understanding that produces movement. An unclear message creates hesitation. A hesitant audience does not act, and when there is no action, there is no result. This is where the idea of cost must be introduced. Lack of clarity is not neutral, it is expensive. It costs individuals the ability to express who they are and what they carry. It costs businesses the trust and attention of the people they are meant to serve. It costs leaders the influence they are meant to have. And it costs truth the opportunity to take root in the hearts of those who hear it. This is what can be described as a kind of hidden loss, a clarity tax. It is not recorded on paper, yet it is paid daily. It is paid in conversations that lead nowhere. It is paid in ideas that are dismissed too quickly. It is paid in efforts that do not produce results. The absence of clarity creates friction, and friction reduces movement. Over time, this compounds into significant loss. The tragedy of being misunderstood is not that people are unwilling, it is that they are unable to respond to what they do not understand. This is an important distinction. People often assume that others are not interested, not ready, or not serious. But in many cases, the issue is simpler. They have not been helped to see clearly. Understanding is what enables response. Without it, even the most valuable message remains inactive. This brings us to a necessary reflection. If misunderstanding produces loss, then clarity must be treated as essential, not as an afterthought, not as decoration, but as a responsibility. To carry something meaningful, whether it is truth, an idea, or a solution, means taking responsibility for how it is communicated. It is not enough to know. It is not enough to have. It must also be made clear, because clarity is what allows what you carry to reach others. The tragedy of being misunderstood is avoidable, but only if it is first recognized. If clarity is ignored, the cycle continues. Effort increases, but results do not. Activity continues, but impact remains limited. And over time, this creates frustration, confusion, and even doubt. But when clarity is introduced, something begins to change. What was once overlooked begins to be seen. What was once ignored begins to be considered. What was once inactive begins to produce results because understanding has been established. This is not written to assign blame, but to bring awareness, to help you see that the issue may not be what you have, but how it is being expressed. That what you carry may already be valuable, but its value has not yet been made clear. And if that is the case, then the path forward is not more noise, but more clarity. Take a moment to reflect. Where in your life are you being misunderstood? Where in your work is your value not clearly seen? Where in your message is there room for greater clarity? These are not small questions. They are foundational. Because once the problem of misunderstanding is addressed, everything else begins to shift. Clarity does not create value, it reveals it. And when what you carry is clearly understood, it is no longer hidden.